tech meetings, and they have basically grants. Microsoft has one, Salesforce has one. So what you have to do is basically go through their vetting process, and then they help you use their software for a year at a time.
Right.
Like, they waive the licensing fees that you're talking about, because you're working out of their foundation.
Right.
So there are opportunities to partner, but the challenge I see with Salesforce, I'm not a techie. And they went through their whole dog and pony for the nonprofit, and then I went to the one for the consumer side. And any way you slice it, it's overbuilt.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly this.
That's
overbuilt.
the challenge I think that
It's-
the nonprofits have, is that they need very sparse but effective tools.
Yeah.
And it's something that we have been able to justify for our funders in our grants. Like, this is an administrative cost, this is something that we're going to do, this is how we give you your data, so please give us this money for this. And they've so far done that in the last 2 years. You know, we wrote ETO into our, you know, budgets, and we've been able to justify it to them. I've done like talks like this about, hey, this is what we do it, you know, give us money, we need it, and then they have. We've justified it to them. However, I mean, the bottom question is the question of the day, right? You know, we want to I'm interested in exploring this, what the gentleman's talking about here, you know, to get out of this.
They demand you to be effective. They demand.
Right. They demand, but they
results.
don't want to give you. They don't want to pay
Well,
for
now
it. You know?
this is the time to demand back. It's
Right.
like their funders are here, the coders are here, your users are here to build a use case. We need this tool for us to do.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
work.
a collaboration of, you know, like the agencies of, you know, us, Erie, Chicago Commons,
Build it,
getting
man.
together and building it, something we
It's
own
you
and have, would
it's
be like,
it's perfect for you, and you own.
yeah,
Can also be a revenue stream.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
One more comment. I worked with a group called Tutor Mentor Chicago, and I worked on his database. He had a mapping system, which I didn't know anything about. And I went and checked zip codes for small people that were working after school, you name it. I didn't even know that many existed. I had checked like 20 zip codes. After that, I was done.
Yeah.
And there was way more than 20 zip codes
Right.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
But my point is that there are so many little, you're probably you look like a big guy to these people that are these little.
Yeah, I mean, we're bigger than most,
So
I think.
if
We're
you-
established.
If you can get something to work for you, it can be transferred to so many others that, if you think you don't have funding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, these people, I mean, everybody's a volunteer.
Yeah.
They're doing tutoring for kids, and they have to beg, borrow, and steal to get computers in their facilities. So there's always someone worse off, but I think it's gotta be a joint effort.
Yeah,
Everybody's gotta work
I
together.
agree wholeheartedly. So I think
presentations and like to have time to get the common issues and then get into the more like deep discussion. Let everyone kind of.
yeah, I think there needs to be like a, you know, maybe like a monthly or like a meeting.
I'm
where
just saying for
everybody-
today, like why don't you guys
Oh,
just
yeah.
see your piece and then we can, after you.
Oh yeah,
decide,
totally.
we can see
I'll
what's common and
hand it
talk
over
about
to the next
solutions.
speaker.
Morning. This is a very different group than I had expected, and I really didn't know what I was going to present here. But I want to start by laying out, I'm in a very different situation than I guess the other two panelists. We're kind of in the middle of the data hierarchy, so that influences what I'm going to say. And we were talking about affordability gaps, and I see gaps in the data that we get in, and gaps in what we are able to provide, and gaps in capacity. Woodstock Institute does not work directly with clients at the community level. We work with groups that do. So we're kind of a data intermediary. We help provide information to groups that they can then use. I think you would know that. So we acquire a lot of data, and I finding out that affordability gaps are relative. There's a data set that we buy for $6,000 that we get specific funding for, and most of the data that we buy, we do have specific funding for. But this we will buy out of general operating funds because it's so valuable. We would use it for so many things because it feeds our research, it feeds our policy analysis, and it allows us to provide better data to the groups that we work with. And we provide technical assistance to them, and we do contract research. If it's a big project, I'm hoping to hear Monday on a very large project that would be data analysis. Data we do have that we can provide, and when I say we provide technical assistance, we provide it generally without cost to the group. We have funding that is specifically dedicated to providing technical assistance to community groups, to government agencies, to advocates. And we use that to fund the resources, so we don't charge the community groups. So if the Albany Park Neighborhood Association or Northwest Housing Center needs data, we can provide it. We have it at census tract level, and you can see we have a lot of economic indicators. That tends to be our focus. So you heard earlier that there are people who focus on crime or health data. I wouldn't know really where to look or how to treat it. Economic data I'm pretty good with. So we have a variety of it, from foreclosure, vacancy rates, employment, jobs. Most of the data we get for free, or as I said, for us, relatively affordably. We have more expensive data that we would like to buy, but we can't. But because we do it all at the census tract level, it's very easy to link with other demographic information from either the census or the American Community Survey. So we can give you a fairly detailed look at what we would consider a neighborhood level. The tract is kind of a proxy for neighborhood. There are gaps in the data that we get. When we talk about gaps in data, there are things, we use Home Mortgage Disclosure Act data. That's on mortgage loans. Doesn't have the credit scores of the applicants, it's all application level. So every loan application is reported, but we don't have the credit score, we don't have property values. Those are pretty basic items that I would like to have. I probably could get, but it would cost a small fortune. We do business lending analysis using Community Reinvestment Act data. Doesn't have any application information, just loans that are made. So those are gaps, they're geographic gaps. Some data, as I said, we like to work at the census tract level. Some data are only available at county level, like Bureau of Labor Statistics. If you tell me that the jobs pay a certain amount in Cook County, that doesn't tell me much about the impact in the neighborhood. You know, Cook County is a big place. Bulk downloads of public data. The Chicago has an open data portal. A lot of really great data are available, but there are a lot of instances where, for example, to get court records, if I'm tracking foreclosures and I need court records, one case at a time. But when you're trying to do Cook County, that takes a lot of time. Now, the Cook County Recorder of Deeds right now has actually done a wonderful thing for a fairly modest price. I think it's $400 for a year. I get monthly downloads of all property transfers in Cook County. That's an incredible service, and I commend the office for doing that. And then there are time gaps. A lot of the data we use takes 15 months to publish. So the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act data, for example, I don't get it until 15 months later. So I can't tell you about mortgage lending in 2013 right now. Well, actually today I might. I don't know whether it comes out today or not. But I can tell you what happened in 2012, but that may not be what you're looking for. There's a lot of data we wish we could afford. I can go get credit score data. I can get how many houses, property underwater, but it costs a lot of money. So unless I have a specific contract for it, it's either got to be something I'm going to use a lot, or I can't afford to get it. Property value, you can see the list. I mean, I'm a data hawk. The more information I can get, because I love working with it.
Who has that?
credit scores, Equifax, TransUnion, property values, I could go to CoreLogic or RealtyTrack. But when you start, I mean, I was exploring one data set that had an obscene amount of personal information. And I know it has an obscene amount of personal information because I asked for a sample in the town where I live. This was 6 months after I had moved. I was in the database already. How I vote, where I go to church, my income, my spending habits, the cars I have. For a mere $47,000, I can get that on an annual basis.
Well,
So,
again.
I'm gonna say, can we hold questions?
Yeah,
Because
sure,
I know
sorry.
we did get, you know, I don't wanna get sidetracked. Data we provide, because as I said, we are a consumer of data, but we're also a provider in our technical assistance. And my colleague Katie Butrago, who actually was supposed to be doing this today, but she's getting married today, so I think that was a pretty good excuse. We, last year, a little over a year ago, put our data online. So you can see the data portal, that's the Woodstock website. You go to data, you can visualize, download the data. It's aggregated at municipality and community area, because in Chicago, community areas are how people think of things. You can see, for example, this is county level foreclosure data. You can also get charts. These are downloadable, editable. You can put them into reports. So if you, as a small agency, go to a funder and you have, this is the problem we're dealing with, this is who we're serving, this is what the community looks like, you look like you really know what you're doing. It's very influential. We have also put a lot of data for power users. When the Metropolitan Chicago Information Center went under in 2012, Woodstock was tasked with compiling the data and putting it on a CCAN platform where it is publicly available. And it's searchable. If you have the permissions, you can download it, use it. So it's to make it available to the community. Now, a lot of agencies may not have the people to use it, but this also, as I said, this is more for the power users. We do provide technical assistance, so if what you see on the website isn't what you need, if you want it for a different service area, if the Southwest Organizing Project doesn't work in a defined community area, they can come to us and ask us, you know, this neighborhood, what's it look like? How many vacancies? How many properties have been vacant more than 2 years? What's the income profile? We can tell them that, again, for free. So we also have capacity to map data, to do longitudinal comparisons. These are just a couple of maps that we did for a technical assistance request to show, I think in this case, it's income levels and how they've changed. We also do relative scale mapping. How are you doing compared to Chicago? Because if you tell me if I tell you your neighborhood lost 2% of its population between 2000 and 2010, is that good, bad, or indifferent? Well, it's better than Chicago as a whole that lost 7%. So this is the kind of service that we provide. There are limits. We are not going to do an unlimited amount of work for you. That's why we have the contract side. But if it's under about 4 hours of effort, and you'd be surprised what we can do in 4 hours. We have some very good people, very good, my research associate, very good at mapping, has the base maps. We just plug in the data, the colors come out. He makes it look pretty, informative. I'm really good with spreadsheets. I do a lot in Excel and SPSS. Katie does Stata, which is pretty much the same function as SPSS, so we can do statistical analysis. Some of the data that we buy, we cannot disseminate unless you have a license. On the other hand, we found the people, Record Information Services, for example, that gives us sells us the foreclosure data, has been very cooperative about working with community groups so that we can give them cleaned, analyzed data at the parcel level. which otherwise we would have to aggregate to the tract. I can tell you how many foreclosures in the census tract, but I can't tell you which addresses unless you have a license. But they've been very good about making those licenses affordable for community groups. And some of the providers are not that user-friendly. They have very restricted data use agreements, and we just have to work for that. I've been pretty good at working around it. I happen to be a lawyer, so getting around the rules is one of my specialties. And as I said, we're limited by resources. We can't just go and give you unlimited technical assistance for free, but it does bridge some of the affordability gaps in terms of you can feed off of our capacity. So you don't need ArcGIS. We have it. We'll map for you. Not a problem. And I think it's relatively affordable. Thank you. I know there's a cursor here someplace. Well, maybe not. Anybody see it?
Yeah, we see it.
Behind you.
What?
Yes.
It's on the projector.
Oh, all right.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's. Oh, well.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samia Malik. I don't have a fancy presentation today. You're just gonna have to deal with me. I work for Chatham Business Association, which is a not-for-profit located on the south side of Chicago in Chatham. They've been around since 1972. The main goal is to assist small businesses and increase economic development. Our biggest issue with the data is that a lot of the community businesses that we are working with don't necessarily have an online footprint. They don't have a data footprint. They're working with cash transactions. They're not, using email. They don't have a website. So we can't even track their SEOs. We don't have any of that stats. So a lot of the information that we are collecting is us going door to door, doing multiple surveys, gathering that data, and then bringing it back, uploading it into Excel. We're a big proponent of Google because they have all those free Google Forms. So that's how we've been collecting all the data, and then it's us sitting down and analyzing the data, trying to figure out how we can assist them further. The nice thing is we do have a good relationship with the businesses, so when we do go door to door, it's they're not freaking out. Sometimes they turn people away, but we've built that relationship over the years, so we are able to get them to fill out our surveys. The data we initially started to collect is because we are a delegate agency, we are asked to push out a lot of the information from the city to these businesses, and we have over 200 businesses in our business district that have to make sure they receive this information. And we've been going door to door, and we thought, well, so instead of going door to door, let's try to gather their email information so we can push out email alerts. As we did that, we realized, there's maybe 35% of the businesses don't have an email address. 80% didn't have a website. 45% didn't even have internet access in their businesses. So, we went out to collect data for one thing, and then when we brought it back, we realized, wait, you know what, there's another larger issue, this technology divide. They don't have this online presence. So we developed the Get Connected program. I'm the program manager over the Get Connected program. We train the businesses on email branding, social media marketing, website development, and what we call smart business technology. And it's all just to increase that online footprint. So we can better track, what their needs are instead of just collecting canned data. The other thing that we are trying to get, we have ArcGIS. We just got one license copy, so we have one license that we can put on any of our computer. We just got it 2 weeks ago. We are excited to install it. What we are looking forward to doing is analyzing, overlaying data, because we have different communities we work within. Within that, we have the different aldermanic wards that we need to work with. Then we have what we call special service district areas, which is, special service areas, which are different tax levies that we manage. So if we can overlay all that data, I feel like it would help us analyze a little bit more what services is unique to each particular area and how to address those issues. So a lot of the issues that we have as a not-for-profit is we do get some of these great programs. We use Chambermaster, we have ArcGIS now. It's finding the time to how to actually use them, how to learn the program, how to manage it and get the most out of it. And usually what happens is we probably use it 10% of what it's actually capable of, because we don't have the time or the resources to sit down and actually fully learn it. So we learn it on the go. Whenever we need a specific tool, that's when we learn that tool, and then we go from there. I think that's we have used Woodstock Institute for the data for, I think we were looking for demographic data, and it's great, but we are missing a lot of that data in the south side of Chicago. There isn't a full set where we can find out, what their economic standings is, what their credit card transactions are, because we want to get an idea. We're doing a lot of marketing out there as well. We want to do marketing events for these small businesses. But we can't get a handle on what they make monthly versus what they make yearly, what they want to make in the future. So those are some of the disadvantages we are kind of working with. And we're big on data. I love data. I love collecting all of it, but just, I know there's more in it. We have it all. I know there's something there, but we don't always have the resources or the time to kind of find out what's actually there. So that's kind of where we're at.
A tip for you if you haven't found out yet, CMAP does a really good ArcGIS training, and it's really affordable, way more affordable than if you go through.
Yeah, two of us actually. I took
Okay.
the
Good, yeah,
training,
we
and
did.
and they're great. And then we finally got the program, so I am very excited about
Yes,
it.
it's good.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, ArcGIS offers an awesome nonprofit discount.
Yes.
Crazy awesome,
Yeah.
like $100 for a license.
No, I think it's a little more than that, but it's.
But when I got it a couple years ago,
Yeah, it's about $700, which we may have a much larger package.
Probably.
Yeah, I think the
GIS
basic.
package than
Yeah,
you
the
do.
basics.
But this is discounting a program that costs probably 10 times that for commercial use. So they're really very good, and their support is good.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely excited about it.
Can you just repeat the stats? You said 80% of businesses do not have a website.
It was, and I can get you the exact numbers. It's 35% in our business district didn't have email. It's 45 didn't have internet at their place of business, and it was 80% that didn't have a website.
So